Welcome to the Nevis Newscast for Tuesday, November 13th, 2018. I'm Donis Wilkinson-Keynes. Two bills before the Nevis Island Assembly are expected to continue their journey when the Assembly sits in chambers at Hamilton House on Thursday, November 15th, 2018. The Honourable Mark Brantley, Premier of Nevis and the Minister of Finance, will move the second and third readings of the Nevis Investment Promotion Agency Amendment Bill 2018, while the Honourable Spencer Brand, Minister of Physical Planning, will move the second and third reading of the Nevis Physical Planning and Development Control Amendment Bill 2018. Both bills were introduced at a sitting of the Assembly on October 4th, 2018. The Nevis Investment Promotion Agency Amendment Bill will replace the Nevis Investment Promotion Agency Ordinance Chapter 6.12N and the Nevis Physical Planning and Development Control Amendment Bill 2018 will replace the Nevis Physical Planning and Development Control Ordinance Chapter 6.09N. The sitting will begin with the formal entry of the Honourable Farrell Smithen, President of the Assembly, followed by prayers, a motion for the approval of the order paper as circulated, messages from Her Honour Hailita Leiber, Deputy Governor-General of Nevis, announcements by the President, papers to be laid, statements by ministers, personal explanations, and the second and third reading of the bills before adjournment. The Nevis Island Administration, in collaboration with the Caribbean Development Bank, is hosting a 4-day workshop for the training of plumbers on the installation and maintenance of water-efficient toilets and urinals at the Mount Nevis Hotel Conference Room. Minister of Water Services in the Nevis Island Administration is the Honourable Spencer Brand.
I am particularly pleased that the focus is on the plumbing sector this time around, which cannot be separated from the building and electrical sectors in the construction industry. This sector has been ignored for some time, but I am delighted that this training focuses on developing the necessary knowledge and skills for the contractors, designers, architects, and technicians in the field. We are aware that water is a precious commodity that is necessary to sustain life and health. As we often say, water is life. Hence, any expenditure of money and time to conserve water is definitely worth it. The knowledge and skills obtained from this workshop will help in water conservation.
Minister Brand, in officially declaring the workshop open, urged the plumbers from both the public and the private sector to share what they will learn over the next 4 days. Facilitator of the workshop, Alphonsus Daniel of Daniel and Daniel Plumbing in Grenada, outlined the overall objective of the workshop.
These are toilets and urinals that don't have the traditional tank like what we have home and so on. You would see most of it in the airports, right? And the installation of those valves, flush valves as they were, it's something new really to most of the plumbers. And apparently Gingerland project was good, but under the direct guidance of a consultant who I think came in, and they left, and apparently there is a void because the local plumbers try to install these same valves in the primary school, St. Thomas, and they're having some challenges. So the purpose of the photo was to train people to do it right, and at the end of the day, we hope, because we have a practical session, we'll attempt to diagnose what exactly is the problem of each valve, and at the end of the day, we hope we could correct it.
The participants will also engage in practical exercises at the Gingerland Secondary and St. Thomas's Primary Schools. The workshop is being funded by the Caribbean Development Bank through the Technical Vocational Education and Training TVET project. Also at the head table were coordinator of the workshop, Lilith Richards, Director of the Public Works Department, Raoul Pemberton, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Water Services, Dr. Ernie Stapleton, and Project Manager of TVET Nevis, Lester Blackett. Deputy Premier and Minister responsible for disaster management, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, says the SKN Comprehensive Disaster Management CDM Youth Ambassadors Initiative is an organization to be proud of. Minister Jeffers, who addressed the organization's November 8th induction ceremony here in Nevis, noted that there is always a need for persons to assist in disaster risk reduction.
Disaster, for example, doesn't pick a time and a date when to impact any country. Whether it is man-made, whether it is natural, it does not pick a time and a place. And as such, our readiness and our preparedness to tackle these particular disasters has to be in place at all times. And I'll say this to you, once young people get involved in activities such as these, it means that our future is definitely secured, in the sense that the energies that are needed and the long-term projections in terms of who would be involved will be in place with this particular organization that is being launched here in Nevis.
He urged the SKN CDM Youth Ambassadors to get involved and be active members of the organization, as they have a responsibility to it and a role to play.
If there's a disaster of some sort, whether natural or man-made, I expect to see everyone who are part of this youth ambassador group to be involved. Don't just carry a name, don't just carry a title, and don't just say to your friends and fellow classmates or whomever that I am a part of this group. You have to be living out the essential creed and the mandate of that group so that we can feel your impact. So I want to wish you well. I want to congratulate the president, Mr. Lucian York. Of course, he'll be the one in charge of this particular group. And I want to commend everyone else who would be a part of it or are part of it and would be a part of it in the future, because the future belongs to you, which starts now. And I want you to be good ambassadors for the island of Nevis, and of course, by extension, the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
The SKN CDM Youth Ambassadors Initiative aims to reduce disaster mortality, the number of persons affected by disasters, economic loss, damage to critical infrastructure, and basic services such as health and educational facilities by 2030. Still to come,
we'll be going around the island of Nevis and giving back to 6 seniors on the island.
We'll give you the details after this break.
Hey girl, what's up? What brings you by?
Girl, I got awesome news from Inland Revenue Department.
What awesome news that? The only news that I get from the department is that they got to spend money. What the news be?
The Inland Revenue Department is waiving all interest on your outstanding property tax bills in excess of $100.
What? What are you saying? So wait, if my interest is $1,000, how much I got to pay?
All you're required to pay is the $100 and the outstanding tax due. If for some reason you are unable to pay your property tax in full this month, the department is also offering payment arrangement plans to make settlement easier. But remember, you have to come to the department between November 1st and December 31st to qualify.
Inland Revenue doing big things. I like it. This is a great way to encourage payment and still allowing the tax rate to save some dollars.
So girl, look at it this way. You can use your extra $900 on the VAT reduction day in December. So be a responsible tax citizen and get your property taxes paid in full.
Welcome back. The Nevis Historical and Conservation Society, NHCS, is celebrating Arbor Month in November. During this month, the NHCS is highlighting the importance of trees to the environment and culture, especially in light of the threats of global warming and climate change. The NHCS is encouraging individuals, schools, churches, community groups, and private sector institutions to engage in raising awareness about the value of trees through various activities such as tree planting, art projects, creative writing, storytelling, public lectures, and field trips. As its own contribution to Arbor Month, the NHCS is offering a limited number of cassia or shower of gold and mahogany seedlings to its members and the general public. These will be available on a first-come, first-served basis from the Alexander Hamilton Museum at Low Street, Charlestown. The general public is also encouraged to visit the NHCS Reforestation Project at New River. For further information and ideas about ways to celebrate Arbor Month, contact the Nevis Historical and Conservation Society at 469-5786 or 661-4148 or send a message to email at nevisheritage.org. The Inland Revenue Department continued its week of activities today, Thursday, November 13th, with an activity dubbed Healthy Screening Day at the department's business complex at Solomon Arcade in Charlestown.
Today, the general public as well as staff can come on into the Inland Revenue Department and get their blood pressure checked, their blood sugar checked, the BMI, body mass index, as well as urine. And this afternoon, we'll be doing a fit at the Villa grounds.
Neva Manes Nemonta, Deputy Comptroller at the Inland Revenue Department, took the time to express thanks to the nurses who facilitated the health fair. The week of activities commenced with a church service at the Eden Brown Church of God on Sunday, November 11th. Officers from the Inland Revenue Department visited secondary and primary schools on the island for informational sessions on Monday, November 12th. The Deputy Comptroller also told us about the remaining activities for this week.
For tomorrow, Wednesday, we will be doing our social responsibility. We'll be going around the island of Nevis and giving back to 6 seniors on the island of Nevis. On Thursday, it is our Grand Taxpayer Appreciation Day, when we will take time out to honor 5 of our most outstanding and rather good standing taxpayers who have been very compliant in the payment of their taxes. We'll also be giving back to the public in the form of trinkets and snack boxes. So we pause to take time out to invite one and all to come and celebrate this day with us. On Friday, we'll be doing a treasure hunt for the afternoon session rather, and then on Saturday we'll go over to St. Kitts to join with our colleagues in a fun-filled day. We would like to pause and say a heartfelt thanks and appreciation, first of all, to God, and then we would like to thank the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Finance and the NIA officials and ministers of government. We'd also like to thank our Comptroller on the island of St. Kitts, Mr. Edward Gift, for his unwavering support. We thank the general public and we thank staff alike for their coordination in this effort.
The week of activities is being celebrated under the theme, Together We Work, Together We Read. That's how we end this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, thank you for viewing.